Hi class, this is Professor Smith, and I thought I would show you some of the new ways to find some of the values using Excel rather than Desmos, since Desmos, for whatever reason, stopped working. And what better way to do that than to do the quiz that's due today? I've already started the quiz, but I would like to show you if, for example, you were to start another quiz, not the day of, but maybe the day before, you can go to the menu icon, select assignments, and then scroll down to the desired quiz that's unlocked. Since this one's already in progress, I'll go there and select it. The quiz will also show up on the home page within 24 hours of its due date when you log into ALEX. The first question asks us to find the standard deviation of the population, and I'm going to show you 4 different ways to do that. The first way is using the ALEX calculator. I'll select the data values and they auto-populate the ALEX calculator. This works best if you're using Google Chrome as your browser. I'll select the summation button, and since there are 5 participants in this weight loss class, I'll divide by 5. And we find that the average weight loss for the population is 3. To find the standard deviation, I'm going to subtract the mean from each of the data values. So I'll take 6 minus 3 and square it. And then rather than retyping that each time, I'm just going to copy it 4 times. The way that I copied it is using the Control key or the Command key on the keyboard. So Control C for copy if you're on a PC, Command C to copy if you're on a Mac. To paste, it's Control V. Then what I'm going to do is change all those values from 6 to whatever the values are in the original data set. So the second data value was 0. So I'll change that second 6 to 0. And then the next value to 5. And then the next value to 3. And then the last value to 1. I'll double click. Since this is the population standard deviation, I'm going to divide by 5. If it were a standard deviation for a sample, I would divide by 4, 1 less than 5. One last step, double click on the division bar. I think you can double click even anywhere. Yeah, double click anywhere. It highlights the whole quotient. Select the square root button, and we have our standard deviation. 2.28. They ask us to round your answer to 2 decimal places. The second way to find the population standard deviation is to send the data to Excel. And in all fairness, when you have a large data set, you are not going to do it the long way that we just did on ALEX, but we go to that definition so you'll have an understanding that the standard deviation is the average deviation for each of the values from the mean. How far away are they from the mean? How spread out they are. So I select Send Data to Excel. Let me move the screen so you can see how it downloads when you're in Chrome. Because I have Excel on my computer, when I double click on this data set, it'll automatically open in Excel. If you don't, I'm going to show you that next. I'm also going to show you how to do it if you're on a Mac and you don't have Excel, but it automatically comes with numbers, and I'll show you how to do it on numbers as well. I'll double click on the data set. It opens up as an Excel file. At the bottom right, you can't see it on the screen. You can zoom out to make it a little bit bigger. This data set is saved with the extension .csv, well, the extension is CSV. CSV stands for comma separated values. rather than an Excel format. So you can ignore this statement here, but if you wanted to convert it, you could, so that it would have an XLSX formatting. But for our intents and purposes, whether it's comma separated or Excel format, it will work. To find the standard deviation, our cell is located underneath the last data value. I'll type in equals, and that opens up the functionality tab on Excel. Type in ST for standard deviation, and there's a standard deviation P for population standard deviation, and the standard deviation S.S for the sample. I'm going to select standard deviation.P. And it says you want to find the standard deviation, and it's asking for what values. I take my mouse, select the first data value, and then I'm going to drag it down. You'll see that the cell is populating with A1 through A5, saying the values that are in the first cell, A1, all the way to the data values to A5. Then I hit the Enter key or the Return button on my keyboard, and that will give me the standard deviation of 2.28. I bet you're saying, ooh, that's a lot easier. Now what I'd like to do is show you how to do this if you had numbers. I'm going to select the data values, copy them, and then I'm going to open numbers on my computer. I have the option of using Siri on mine Mac, so I can just click on Siri and tell it to open numbers. Siri, open numbers. So I selected created a spreadsheet. I'm going to select blank. You can double click on blank or select choose. I'm going to paste in those values. Underneath one, the last value, you can see the function tab opens up. On the right, there's a list of all the different functions that you can insert. I'm going to move this so that I can see where I'm typing. And then I'm going to type ST, and there's standard deviation. And if I really want the standard deviation, show function in browser. I think I'm going to use the search engine here. ST, there it is, deviation pop. Or I could just type it in. When I double click, it automatically inserts the function, or I could select insert function. Again, it's asking me for what values. I select the value icon, and then I select the values B2 through B6. Select the checkbox, and that will give me the population standard deviation of 2.28. That's the third method. Fourth method is, what if you don't have Excel or numbers? It turns out, as a student at Sierra College, you have an online version of Excel that's available to you. And the way that you use that is you go to My Sierra, check my email, and then there's a launch for the app. So I'll show you that. I've opened up My Sierra. I'm logging in. They have a new authentication process where we have to type in a magic code to make sure we're legitimate. I believe I've turned off notifications, so it might not show up. So let me check my phone here. Yeah. So, once you log in, you land on the home page. And when you land on the home page, you select My Email. And when you select My Email, I'll show you how to launch the app to open up Excel online. Microsoft Outlook is now opening up. That's interesting. It wants me to put in a code again. Making sure I'm me. The 9-dot grid to the left is our launch for our apps. I select the app launcher, and when I select the app launcher, I will see the option to open up Excel. I am not so sure why it's going so slow. I think it might be because I had another video capturing software open and it wouldn't open. It would just spin and spin and spin. I have one part of my computer where it's just for recording, so it's a lot less things in the background, just a cleaner desktop if I ever have to show the screen. And for whatever reason, Camtasia Studio is just being crazy. And it usually works. I don't know what the problem is, but now Mail is taking forever. So let me pause this until that app launcher opens. So now the app launcher opens up. I'm going to select Excel. I can open up a new blank workbook, but I'm going to scroll down to Recent, Downloads. The first time you open up a document, it will not show this window here. It'll say read only. You'll need to select read only and then choose the option to convert it to an Excel document so that you'll have all the functionality of Excel. Underneath the last data item, I'm going to type in equals, select the function box, st dev pops up, population, double click. It opens up the function, select the data values, and it'll find the standard deviation for the population, and again we get 2.28. I will stop the video here and then I will open up with part 2 where we will do question number 2.